Alright, not too many updates, but figured I'd show how I mounted the Sundown amp. Also, I did purchase my recones. This one, 18, still playing just fine. The other one I got all cleaned up and prepped and ready for the recone, and as soon as I get the recones in, I'll tear that one apart, but I figure I'll enjoy it while it's still working. I don't know if I ever showed my fan, but finally got all my fans mounted. And got one under here. I got the MD 1800.1 on all 4 of my crescendos, and it looks kind of crappy, but I got a kid. She makes a lot of mess. But under there is the Orion XTR 1000.4, and underneath this side is Orion XTR 500.4. The 1000.4 plays all 8 of my 6.5s, 2 on each channel, running at 2 ohms. After I did some more crossover settings with them, that amp doesn't overheat anymore, so honestly most of the time I don't even need the fan. Unless I go on like a 2-hour drive, then I'll turn the fans on, but everything is running very efficient in here for the most part. I also have a set of those in the front doors and a set of those in the dash, as well as obviously where I'm showing you now. All 8 of those are also on that XTR 500.4. Then everything on those amps is set to full, and everything goes through here, and this is where I actually do all my crossovers at, which is probably obvious, but hey. I have my little yellow top. That's the separate 12-volt side, which powers all 3 of these amps down there, this crossover, the CD player, and the car. So I have a yellow top up front, and those 2 are connected to a mechman 240 amp alternator. And even at idle, like 600 RPM is where I set it idle, and that alternator doesn't even really go below 13.8. So that setup's running really good. I have these 4 AGMs, 110 amp hours. They are cheap batteries, Viper batteries. They do just fine for me for the most part. And those 4 are connected to the Singer 320 amp alternator, and that's powering the Sundown. And with that wired at 2 ohms right now in this setup, at 1500 RPM or more, actually at 1000 RPM or more, voltage doesn't drop. It's steady at 14, wherever I set it at, to be honest, but it's steady. But when I get that thing wired down to 2 ohm, that's going to be a whole different story. I am using 2-watt power going to the amp, only because it's kind of a cheap ass and didn't have any 0 gauge left over, and I don't really want to buy any. So I use the 2-watt for the powers, just because I had it, and the grounds as well, which are, that bottom bar, those 3 right there, those are 0 gauge. I will correct that one of these days, but honestly I might go to dual inputs. I'm still thinking about it, to be honest. And I might fix this battery mount one day. It's kind of trashy. I mean, you don't see it or anything, but... And then I got the 10-inch arrow port in my Frankenstein box. I used to have 3 4-inch PVC pipes there. But after I truly learned how to build a box, I realized that was not enough port area, especially for this thing. But there used to be my 212 Orion HCCAs in here, like 6 years ago or so. And I just kept it around and use it as a piece together box when I need to. But I have it mounted to a 3/4 piece of board, which is anchored into the panel. Underneath the panel I have 2x4s, set like 3 2x4s down there to fill the gap between the panel and that board, and that's how it's mounted. Can't really get in there to see. Well, there's just enough room for this. My Orion used to sit sideways, if you guys remember, but this one was a little too long for that. But the thing about it is, I don't like it because I'm sure it does vibrate more, but I honestly don't think it'll hurt it. I don't know. If any of you guys care to comment, let me know what you think on this, though. I love the look of it, to be honest. I like that, but I want this thing to last a long time too, so. But I really don't have anywhere else to mount it, to be honest with you, so. Fuck to the roof, I guess. There's nothing new going on up here. I'm gonna relocate the Sundown voltmeter / clip meter. I'm just using it for the clip indicator and the temperature indicator, which the temperature running at 2 ohms. I don't even think it's over 90 degrees during the winter. But I'm gonna relocate that somewhere where I can see it a little better, because when I'm driving, it's like sits right behind my steering wheel and I kind of got to move my head over. So I'm gonna move that somewhere a little better, I think, today. But I don't use the volume on that. That's just all the way up. I'm only using it for the little clip meter mainly. And I'm still using my little Milwaukee tape measure bass knob. That bottom bass knob, that's kind of like my gain for the amp is how I treat that one. So that's my set point. And then this is, you know, the one I use all the time. But that one down there kind of has a clip indicator on it, but it didn't work like the amp does, because it's just reading off of the RCAs, not the actual amp. So I mean, you can see when you're putting dirty signal into it, but the amp could still be clipping. So that's why I originally put that up here, but now I just use it as my set point. And then yeah, with the clip indicator,